Don't say I didn't warn you. Immigration has been a bloody train wreck, slow motion train wreck for decades. It is a topic that we've covered at length here on the program. And again, it just shows you the complete, utter lack of leadership in the United States on this issue for a very long period of time. Both political parties use it to get the people going on their side, trying to attract votes. Never any sort of real, compromise in regards to actually getting something done to help solve the problem. I want to go. What we'll do right now, we'll talk about some of the things that should make you angry, because they make me angry. They do. You're watching people rioting in the streets, holding foreign flags, burning American flags. Not a good look. Not a good look. If you think you're going to endear yourself to the overall population here in the United States, you're not. But again, I don't know who's doing it. I don't know who's doing it. You've got these protests that are going, anyone call them protests, or riots, destroying public property. It's like a redo. The whole Black Lives Matter thing all over again. All are watching the same damn thing again. I don't think Trump wants to have any part of what happened back in 2020 happen again on his watch. And this is why, he's having the heavy-handed approach. And I don't say that I blame him by any stretch. The LA Police Department chief admits professional left-wing anarchists are fueling the violence in Los Angeles riots. Again, this is one of those things where you get the Soros crowd there. You get them, and they pay people to go out and riot. It's a paid position here in the United States. Maybe some of these colleges and universities might be offering it up as a major at this point in time. Those robo-taxis there, they're over $200,000 a pop. Those Waymos, that's Google. They're calling them and they're setting them on fire. They're saying that some of these riots are being organized by the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights. That group is funded by the major DNC group, ActBlue. The other one is the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights, and you and I pay for that. That comes out of our tax dollars. Yeah, we pay for that group out of DC. So our tax dollars are also paying for this protest. You're seeing various different strategically placed pallets of bricks and stones. Interesting. Many of these bricks, bags of rocks, and cinder blocks they're actually being stored in the back lot of the Contemporary Art Museum. The mayor of Los Angeles is on that board of directors. Oh, by the way, if you want to take a look at that group that I had just mentioned there, what is it? The Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights. Yeah, Karen Bass is on that too. You know who else is on that too? Victoria Nuland and all of the deep staters. All of the longtime deep staters, the people that like to start wars all over the globe, that whole sort of thing. So just want to get that out there. Gavin Newsom is he's suing the federal government, suing Trump over the National Guard deployment. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I think didn't George H. deploy the National Guard in during the LA riots? I think he did it at the behest of the governor at the time. It was great. I'm trying to remember what it was at that point in time. Some are saying that, and again, I didn't check this, but I've heard it several times, that this is the first time that the president of the United States has deployed the National Guard since the Civil Rights Act. So it's interesting. But now let's talk about this slow motion train wreck, and we can look at various different things that have happened. I'm going to go back to the Clinton years, as a matter of fact. A couple of things that Bill Clinton did that, again, were precursors to this. The motor voter law. Yeah, that law, the motor voter law, is like you go to, get yourself a driver's license or an ID. They want to ask, they sign you up to register to vote right here and there. That was at that point in time where, Rock the Vote on MTV and voter registration drives trying to get people out to vote. And this was a way to expedite that. Again, what did it lead to? Clinton also did something as well that bothered the hell out of me at the time, forcing every single agency or hospital, whatever it may be, that accepts federal dollars, forcing them to have unlimited translations for everything. For everything. If somebody wants their paperwork in Swahili, you have to provide it to them in Swahili. And obviously that leads to higher costs. This process that we've had for a very long period of time, where press 1 for English, press 2 for this, it ticks people, and I can't blame them. I really can't blame them. And again, I've never been able to understand other people's arguments when it comes to this. Listen, you come to this country. You come to this country, I think it should be expected of you to assimilate to our culture, learn our language and our ways. Quick side story, I'll never forget this. 2001, summer of 2001, basically newlywed. I was with my wife, visiting her family in Greece, and we were on a beautiful island of Rhodes. Now this is even before still drachmas were in place in Greece at that point in time. Went with my wife's aunt to there was a new sandwich shop not far from where she was. We were going to the beach, wanted to pick up some things. I can't remember exactly, or maybe it was breakfast. I can't recall. And this little shop, sandwich shop, pastry shop, was run by some people from the UK. And Maria, my wife's aunt, goes in there and she starts speaking to them in Greek, and they didn't have a clue. They didn't understand what she was saying. And she was just, Maria's a tough lady. She basically told them, because she speaks perfect English, she was like, listen, said, welcome your business, fine, come here, do well, but learn the language. You're here, learn the language. If I have to move to the UK, I have no English, but I'm going to have to use English there. You learn the language if you're going to come here. And she had a point. Is she wrong? I don't think so. I don't think it's, quite frankly, I don't think it's too much to ask. But again, we're well past that at this point in time. We're at the point in time where, again, you're rioting in the streets and you're waving foreign flags on our nation's soil. You don't think that that's wrong? You don't think there's a bit of a stretch? What do you think would happen if, let's say, American students decided to hold a protest in Mexico? Say they were studying abroad in Mexico. It's happened before. They got arrested immediately. Not allowed. You're not allowed. Now, listen, I don't, again, you want to have your peaceful protest, whatever it be, make your point. But again, I can't get my arms around the fact that you're flying all these foreign flags. If the place that you're advocating for is so wonderful, why don't you go home? And that's a logical question that would be asked by anyone at this point. Immigration, again, hasn't been dealt with properly. Again, it was a joke during the Obama administration. They actually they did a skit on it on Saturday Night Live. Remember Obama? He talked about prosecutorial authority. He's not going to prosecute, not going to follow the laws of the land. And they actually did a skit on Saturday Night Live where they had Obama basically reenacting that "I'm just a Bill" bit from Schoolhouse Rock, and pushing the bill down the steps of the Capitol, basically saying, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to do. Now, we've laid all this out. Let's talk about where we are, because again, we can yell and we can scream, but by some estimates, 10% of the population of Los Angeles at this point in time is illegal. 10% is illegal. Again, the idea that we're going to be able to go out and round up millions of people that are here in this country is quite frankly patently absurd. Not going to happen. It is patently, it is a logistical nightmare. If you tried to pull it off, you would absolutely 110% bankrupt the country. You couldn't hire enough. You couldn't do it. It's not possible. Again, we've been doing this for a very, very long time the wrong way. To think that Trump's second term, he's going to be able to do this is nuts, in my opinion. However, all right, you know what? I'm going to go to, again, this is the Wall Street Journal. And they've been a very pro-immigration publication for an extended period of time. And quite frankly, I'm pro-legal immigration when it's done the right way. Good luck with that right now. What has taken place, what's taken place in Los Angeles and other areas around the country where you're getting other groups rioting against ICE as well, there's not going to be the political will to do anything when it comes to legal immigration. I don't see how. Anyway, this is the Journal today. Rounding up deporting millions of illegal immigrants was never going to go down without protest. But President Trump is determined to do it, and no one can say he didn't tell voters during the campaign. But there are risks from both sides of the dispute, and especially for the country if it turns violent and triggers a military response from the White House. What's happened in LA could be signs of what could be ahead. Immigration Customs Enforcement been staging raids around the city, hunting for migrants, including at businesses where they thought to work. Workers, union leaders, and pro-migrant activists hit the streets in protests, and some of these things have turned pretty bad. Trump has done a great job in stemming the problem, closing the border down and stemming the problem at the border. People using asylum claims looking to get in. Illegal border crossings have slowed to nothing, basically nothing over the past 4 months. ICE has done a great job going after dangerous gang members and others accused of crimes here in this country. On this, Trump has overwhelming support. Overwhelming support. However, like I said, Stephen Miller is behind this as well. He wants to deport everyone here that is illegal. Gang. Broke the law. I understand that. But again, I'm trying to get my arms around the logistics here, Stephen. I really am. How are you planning on doing this? I mean, even this past weekend, even had Tom Homan come out and said we arrested, several dozen people. Several dozen. Oh, I mean, great. I hope you got people that were criminals and bad guys, but that's not what's coming out. You actually have Republican representatives saying, well, wait a second here. Why are we going after the criminals first? Why are you going after these people that are law-abiding? Well, they may be law-abiding, but they're still illegal. I mean, again, we made fun of it last week. Steve Bannon wanted to deport Elon Musk, saying that he might be illegal. We've allowed it. We've allowed this to take place. And how do you go about dealing with this? Well, Miller and the restrictionists want to deport everyone to send a message never to come again. All right. I'm just giving everybody a reality. And yeah, we don't have the workers. We don't have the workers to do these various different jobs. I mean, they've got job sites, I mean, again, right now, all over the country. I've spoken with people. People have actually even gone on social media. Jobs shut down. No workers. No workers. You got to find people that are going to go out there and going to do this type of construction work and a myriad of other things. And again, I like to make these workers, these people that are come and do this type of work, I like to make them legal, and I like them to be getting a prevailing wage. That's going to help everyone out there. But at this point in time, I mean, hell, the only the thing that I talked about a while ago is to get the whole build a wall crowd. Okay, build a wall. Again, we don't have a freaking wall now, and Trump has shut down shut down the border. Our wall now, and it's been shut down. But quite frankly, you do away with any sort of government assistance. Any sort of government assistance when it comes to being illegal when you come here, or again, you have to have e-verify. E-verify. Do I think that what we saw take place in Los Angeles represents most of the immigrants that are here in this country? No, I do not. I do not. And again, they're going to be having to deal with the fact that took place. We're getting a little off the beaten track when it comes to, how far we've shifted. Again, we have, we talk about foreign students, throw this in there as well. Okay. No more foreign students, not going to approve any foreign students for Harvard. They're talking about, the revoking visas for Chinese students. Again, you might want to do some more greater background check, but everyone. Then this was interesting. J.D. Vance did an interview. Newsmax interview last week, where he disputed that restrictions on foreign students could slow U.S. innovation. He said, this idea that American citizens don't have the talent to do great things, that you have to import a foreign class of servants and professors to do these things, I just reject that. We should invest in our own people. And restricting student visas is an opportunity for American citizens to really flourish. JD, man, I'm sorry, but you're saying a lot of stupid shit lately. Okay? You're saying a lot of really dumb things. You want to invest in our own people? Well, you know what? You might want to start doing that, maybe in the primary schools, for crying out loud. I mean, you see what the test grades are. You see what the test grades are. And not to mention, and they point this out, it's a false choice. And of course, we have great talent here in the United States, and we want to invest in that talent. But welcoming foreign students doesn't hinder Americans. The reality, here's the numbers. Cold, hard numbers here. Too few Americans are pursuing STEM fields to meet the future needs of business and government. Of all U.S. bachelor's degrees, biology and engineering fields make up about 13%. The paucity of U.S. grads pursuing advanced STEM degrees leads universities to fill their graduate programs with foreigners. Universities typically cover tuition in return for assistance with research. More than 70% of full-time graduate students in computer science and engineering are international students. Again, Vance doesn't agree. He said that the America's space program in the 1950s, which he said was built by American citizens with an assist from some German and Jewish scientists who had come over during World War II. 1,600 German scientists who immigrated after the war were pretty crucial to launching our first space satellite and the Apollo mission. Werner von Braun, German immigrant, main architect of the Saturn rocket that was crucial to launching astronauts into space and to keeping up with and surpassing the Soviet Union. And again, you got Stephen Miller again, basically giving a, thumbs up, cyber fist bump to Vance. He tweeted out that during the middle of the 20th century, when the U.S. achieved unquestionable global scientific dominance, there was zero migration. Another, again, that's kind of a half-truth. Yeah, did immigration fall mid-century? This was restrictions that were all pre-war. Yeah, but immigrants were still crucial. Between 1945 and 1974, this is the Journal today, more than half of U.S. winners of Nobel Prizes in physics and 42% in medicine were immigrants. Polio vaccine developed by Albert Sabin, immigrant, Poland. And also Salk, who was a son of an immigrant. Andy Grove, one of the founders of Intel, pioneered the integrated circuit, Hungarian immigrant, 1956. Go on and on and on. So again, it's a bit of a false choice. However, we need to have legal immigration into this country. There's no debating that. There's no debating that. I don't care what all these, put a wall up, stop everything. It's just not gonna. We need the workers. However, one of the things that we do need to do, quite frankly, is we need to come up with a system where we are assimilating people to our society. That has been a problem for a very long period of time. I've had long discussions about this here on the program, where, again, you've got certain cultures that are coming in, and I know school teachers in these districts where parents just don't care. They just don't care. And that's a problem. That's a problem. You have very young girls, part of the culture, young girls getting pregnant at a very young age to please abuela. That's a problem. That's a problem. People usually came to this country, assimilated, and copied our ways because that was a way to success. That's, again, no denying that that's a problem. I want to go back to something that I highlighted just a couple of years ago. And again, I thought that this might have been a pretty good way to help stem the tide and kind of work our way out of the deep, deep hole that we're in when it comes to immigration. This was Congresswoman Salazar she's from Miami, Florida. She's a Republican. She called it the Dignity Act, and we have gone over this here on the program. Dignity Act, $25 billion to fully secure the border. Mandates 100% nationwide e-verify to ensure all American businesses are hiring legal workers. Again, I've been beating this drum now for I don't know how long. Achieve operational control of the southern border by employing a comprehensive southern border strategy. I don't know what that means. Again, enhance physical barriers, most up-to-date technology on the border. Again, she put this forth, Biden was president. Hires thousands of new Border Patrol agents and customs officers, border intelligence units. Again, we haven't even done that, and we've already handled it so far. New policies to stop criminals crossing the border illegally. New authorities to track cartel spotters, raises penalties on human trafficking and sex trafficking. Authorizes Department of Homeland Security to officially designate an organization as a criminal street gang, making any alien involved in a criminal gang inadmissible and deportable. Designates Mexican cartels as criminal organizations. Again, allowing Department of Homeland Security to use DNA to verify family relationships. Again, all sorts of stuff when it comes to the border, but then to fix the system. Expedites processing and ends catch and release policies. That was one of the dumbest things ever. But again, it was by design. I mean, Biden didn't come up with it. He didn't. You put people, you get people coming in, you put them into detention centers, you hear their case and you let them go. You don't spread them out all over the country in various different hotels. they're going to find themselves lost and you're never going to hear from them again. Establishes, again, at least 5 humanitarian campuses that will receive individuals and families arriving at the southern border for immediate processing. They will remain there until their case is decided. Again, have medical facilities there, everything, you know what? But you cannot leave. All cases have to be adjudicated within 60 days. Again, asylum seekers will undergo an initial interview, fear interview, within 15 days of their arrival, and further screening by trained asylum officers within another 45 days. Which other things here? Cracks down on asylum fraud by increasing penalties for false documentation. 2-strike policy for anyone caught crossing at a non-port of entry to ensure asylum seekers are processed appropriately. And here is the dignity part of it that, again, I didn't have any problem with at all. Creates a protected status for dreamers and TPS recipients. This is, again, I thought was a pretty practical solution. Yeah, you're going to get blowback on this. You are. But again, I'm trying to solve the problem here, trying to be practical. And I think that this does this. If you've been undocumented, you've been in the U.S. for more than 5 years, you'll be offered a chance to work, pay restitution, get right with the law, and, wait for it, earn legal status. Must comply. All applicants must comply with all federal and state laws, pass a criminal background check, pay outstanding taxes or debts. Dignity participants will also pay $5,000 in restitution during the 7 years of the program. They have to check in with Department of Homeland Security every 2 years, remain in good public standing. They will not have access to any federal means, tested benefits, or entitlements. You are not allowed to get any aid. Again, 2 options after successful completion of this program: dignity status or redemption program. Dignity status, dignity recipients who choose this option will immediately receive a 5-year dignity status, which provides full work authorization and the ability to live in the United States and travel authorization outside. They will remain ineligible for citizenship, means-tested government programs, and entitlements. Now, dignity status can be renewed an indefinite number of times as long as the individual remains in good standing with the law. Redemption program, you want to go a little bit further. This is 5+ years. It requires completion of the 7-year dignity program. Okay, it offers these people a chance to redeem themselves and earn permanent legal status. Must learn English, must learn U.S. civics, must contribute to their local community, either through community service or an additional $5,000 in restitution payments. Again, successful completion of the redemption program provides legal permanent resident status and eligibility for existing pathways to citizenship. Participating individuals would go to the back of the line. Again, there's some more to this program as well. Is it going to make everyone happy? No. Do I think it's a step in the right direction when it comes to solving the problem? I'm going to end with Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton, Hamilton, big play. He was an immigrant. And yet he understood. Even though he was an immigrant, he understood the consequences from the unqualified admission of foreigners. The safety of the republic depends essentially on the energy of a common national sentiment, assimilation, on a uniformity of principles and habits, on the exemption of citizens from foreign bias and prejudice, and on that love of country which almost invariably be found to be closely connected with birth, education, and family. The mass influx of foreigners must, therefore, tend to produce a heterogeneous compound, to change and corrupt the national spirit, to complicate and confound public opinion, to introduce foreign propensities in the composition of society. The harmony of the ingredients is all important, and whatever tends to a discordant intermixture must have an injurious tendency. The United States have already felt the evils of incorporating large number of foreigners into their national mass. It has served very much to divide the community and to distract our councils by promoting in different classes different predilections in favor of particular foreign nations and antipathies against others. It's been often likely to compromise the interests of our own country in favor of another. To admit mass foreigners indiscriminately to the rights of citizens the moment they put their foot in our country would be nothing less than to admit the Trojan horse into the citadel of our liberty and sovereignty. And again, this is coming from an immigrant here into this country. We've got ourselves a problem that has been decades in the making. At some point in time, we're going to have to take a step and try to actually solve it. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com.